Have you ever seen a pond? Of course, I'm sure you all would have seen. And the top layer of the water on the surface, the water looks very clean and clear, isn't it? But have you ever thought or seen what happens when you shake up the water? Think about it. So now coming to, I want to talk today about space clearing. So what is space clearing? It's not just clearing or throwing away or discarding the unwanted stuff. There is much more to it. So it's not about just the physical stuff. There can be emotional, digital, spiritual, yes, you heard it right, spiritual and even religious clutter. So how do we know in what forms are these in our life or in our home or office? So like I said, it's not just the physical clutter. So I remember right from my school time, I have been doing this decluttering, what you call as, not knowing the word at that time, and only on the physical level. So I remember on weekends and holidays, all my neighbors and friends and relatives, they would call me and bribe me for a good lunch, all the sweetmeats what I like. And because they would see our house spick and span, and things were tidy and organized and nothing excess. So they all were inspired and they would all call me over and ask me to help them out. And of course, I would more than willingly, very happily, I would clear up their stuff and help them and organize, and not only cleanliness, but cleanliness, neatness and minimalist, everything I would help them out. And this went on for a long time. And then not until I got into the occult sciences and the holistic healing or the spiritual journey in 1996, when I started my journey, not until then did I realize that clutter does not exist only in the physical level. It's not only about some broken cooker or a torn pant or shirt or a faded or button broken. No, it was not just that. It was much more than that. So which I realized, that first thing I realized was in the emotional level. So now if you remember the pond, what I said, what happens when you shake up the water? Well, all the slush and the mud and the twigs which was all fallen into the pond or this thing, it all comes up, isn't it, when you shake it up? So similarly, in our life, when there are triggers from people, from situations, from the environment, any kind of triggers, when it comes, so whatever is already lying there within us, in our conscious, subconscious level of mind, which we think that we don't know, either we don't know or we are not aware, or we are aware but we don't want to acknowledge it and accept it and say, yes, I have this, so let me work on it. So there are different levels of being aware of things. So when we realize that there is this emotional baggage going on, so how to go about it, how to clear this baggage? First of all, we have to recognize what is this emotional clutter, and then we have to acknowledge it, accept it. When you become aware, it becomes easier to acknowledge and accept, and then the willingness to let go of. So there is a complete process to clear out the emotional clutter. So similarly, there is spiritual and religious and digital and blah blah blah, in any forms and every form. There are clutters in the objects, sentimental, emotional, you name it, and they are there. So only when I got into the spiritual side, I got to know that okay, there are, not that I learned it from anybody or anywhere. There was no teaching on this kind of clutter what I deal with. There was no teaching. It was all my own life experiences, intuitive, and of course in the spiritual journey you meditate and a lot of things you do. So with that, and you look around in your own life, in your own home and environment, and around everywhere around your neighborhood, and that is how my journey of professional journey. Personally, I was already doing it right from my school time, and till about 96 it was all just purely passion, you know. Then this passion became my profession, when actually I got to know this is my passion, and there is a purpose in my life, where my mission in my life is to clear up my own baggages and also guide and help people to clear their baggages, so they become free of pain and suffering. So I hope you got some insights, message or clues through this talk. So as long as we don't shake up, you know, as long as there is no trigger, everything lies in the dormant state, but that's not going to help. We have to tap it, wake them up, bring them up, and clear it up. So that is my whole purpose of life and my mission of life, to share my intuitive knowledge and passion and make this world much better place to live in, our inner world and the outer world. Both. One does not work without the other. It has to be both inside and outside.